Hello, all you wonderful people. Trying to be a little more non-reserved. Just trying to do this like I feel. I'm in a good mood. I had to write kind of a timeline for this video. I posted the poll about what you wanted to see. Apparently, it is, y'all want to know life before biking to now. So let's get right into it. And want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me recently since I've started doing the bike stuff. It's been a couple people. I know it's going to be slow because it's new. Hey, make sure you like the video if you enjoy it. It does help. And subscribe if you like it. Everything in my life kind of started with music. I came from a very musical family. Grandfather, grandmother, dad, just all pretty much music. My brother, everybody is extremely talented in my family, and I like to say I am the worst musician in the family because I didn't really care about theory, and I was, Nirvana is what inspired me to start playing music, and so I didn't care about theory and scales and things like that. Ever since I started playing at like 8, it's just been music, 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 and running right beside that was depression, 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 depression. Every now and then I'd have, it would make me happy when I'd learn something new. There was happy moments, but all I really remember from my life is depression, negative thoughts, and I hated my life, but didn't really know why. Throughout my life, I've had multiple attempts at taking my life. I mean, luckily they failed, or I wouldn't be sitting here as what I would consider a success story nowadays. So, I mean, I'm happy that they all failed. Recently, I have discovered that the last 10 years, when I met my wife, which we have one kid who's 5.5 and a little terror and a daredevil. And then from a previous marriage, I have a 14-year-old who is just the most creative little guy. It's not even little, he's almost my height. He's a tall dude. But he is so creative. It's not even funny. But anyways, so 10 years ago, met my wife, and we had a kid about 4.5 years in. And he is, like I said, a daredevil. He is always doing things that should kill him. But he is a daredevil. And he also rides bikes with me. I mean, he just started. So he's on the training wheels, and it's slow going. And he likes to barrel through turns, and he has not had a successful turn yet at the speed he would like to go. So he's always falling. But he gets right back up and keeps riding. Just recently, since I started riding, I was able to put together that the last 10 years, I didn't hate my life. I hated myself. I was not happy with myself. I was not happy with any choices I've made really throughout my life besides marrying my wife. And I have almost ruined that marriage multiple times just 'cause, the depression and hating myself. But now I realize I hated myself and not my life. But I've made just horrible choices in my life that just keep leading me down this awful rabbit hole of just awful, awful things and making the depression worse. But how it all started, how I got from all this depression and negative thoughts and all that to where I am now is I've been obsessed with YouTube since it pretty much started. Something to do, watch some videos, blah, 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 blah. But I'd say 3 years ago, I noticed some dirt bike videos popping up in my recommended, and I spent a while watching that, and I was like, man, I've always wanted to ride a dirt bike due to the movie Terminator 2 and that scene in the LA River where the tow truck is chasing John Connor on his dirt bike, and I wanted a dirt bike ever since then, but never got to ride one. So I started shopping around for them, trying to find some stuff, learn a little bit about them, and ultimately it was just not feasible. They were too expensive. The maintenance on them is out of this world, and then everything else that you have to get to stay safe on it, and I wanted, you know, a dual sport that I could ride on the road and also take on the dirt. But being on the road is super dangerous because where I live, people just do not pay attention to motorcycles, and they get in wrecks all the time. So I just kind of forgot about that. Any kind of joy I was getting from researching this stuff just kind of fell out, and I was back into my depression. And then my YouTube homepage with all the recommendeds was the most bipolar thing you'd ever see. Just from music to dirt bikes to this to that to this and this and this. And then mountain biking stuff started rolling in, and I was like, I have never watched a biking video in my life, nor have I ever shown any interest or said anything about a bike, other than I bought a low-end Trek for $99 at a pawn shop that I tore up the greenways with for a little while, but it wasn't enjoyable. It needed a lot of work. It needed new brakes, it needed new tires, it needed the derailleur reset, it needed every bit of the drivetrain completely reset, and it wasn't a very comfortable bike, but I loved the bike because everything could be fixed, but I didn't do it. I sold the thing, and I was like, well, that's that. So I don't know if these videos popped up because of that or what. So I started watching these videos, and nothing changed. I'm still depressed. I'm still doing music, even though I'm not happy doing it, but I kind of forced myself subconsciously to say, yeah, this is what makes me happy. Music is what made me happy. And very few times in my music pursuit was I actually ever truly happy. And then I've mentioned this before in my last video, the video of Ryan Van Duzer's Great Divide video, not the like part 1 through 3,800 or however many parts it is to that series, but the full video he put up. And I literally could not take my eyes off of this video. The absolute joy and happiness that radiates off of that dude just got me excited. And, well, rewind. I went and I bought my Trek Marlin 5, which I love this bike. I love it. But I was planning on doing, you know, the trails and all this stuff. And then I started actually like coming to terms with what I was going to be doing. And I realized that I am going to end up hurting myself very badly because I have no chill when it comes to trying things. I don't think about the outcomes. I just do.
You know, I just do things.
So I was like, oh crap. Then the Doozer video popped up for the Great Divide. And I was like, man, that seems really fun. And I just saw how happy he was and how much joy was in his life. And all of the people that surrounded him were the exact same way. They were just happy and full of joy and just radiated this contagious joy. There's no other way to put it. It's just contagious. And I immediately was like, okay, I bought this bike. I've barely touched it. I've maybe rode it once or twice through my neighborhood, barely going a mile an hour, trying to teach my son how to ride a bike. So I didn't feel the effects of really, you know, powering up a hill or going fast and just getting out of this neighborhood. It was insane. I'm lost. Anyways, got on the bike after watching his video when my wife had a day off of work, and I went out and just first day out, not riding a bike, 250 pounds and just horribly out of shape. And the next like 2 days after that ride, I felt so good. I was actually coming out of this room that I'm in, spending more time with my family. My attitude got better. I don't get as angry as quick. Like I mentioned, I have an anger issue, which is starting to fizzle out, and I love it. I've been getting rid of any drama that is a part of my life because I don't want it here. I never wanted it, but I just kind of accepted it that that's the way it is, and it doesn't have to be. But after that trip went over to the local pawn shop and I picked up a GoPro bundle, and it was actually my old GoPro bundle. They just never put it on the shelf, and I sold it to them 3 years ago. So I got it back for what they gave me for it. So I paid $200 for a Hero 7 and 2 Hero 3 Pluses. But anyways, I filmed 2 videos about how Ryan's videos just completely changed everything for me. Sent them to him. I mentioned this stuff in the other videos. But Ryan's comment that he made about, wow, your videos look really good. And for someone who has been doing it as long as him, I have also been making videos and editing for a long time, but I've been pretty lazy with it. I don't want to put... I need to get over this, but I don't like to put a ton of time into something, but I do want it to look good. I need to make it look great and put a little more time in it, which will come with every video. It'll just keep getting better. But the effects of riding this bike, I don't care if this thing breaks, I don't think I'll ever get rid of it, because this is the bike that changed everything in my life. I am happier. I have more joy. I don't hate myself anymore. I mean, I still have spats of depression because my brain is just so trained to being there. And so I keep falling down into that a little bit, and I have to motivate myself to get back on the bike. And if I can't do it, I just go watch one of Ryan's videos and I'm like, yeah, let's go. All right. And so everything's getting better. I'm losing weight. Basically, I started riding at 250. I'm fluctuating between 240 and 242 because last night I decided I'm gonna eat way too much Chinese food. My home life is better. Like I said, I'm spending more time with the kids, the wife. She's even noticed an improvement in my attitude and stuff. And yeah, so that's basically the short summed up version of from depression, thoughts of taking my own life, to biking and what it has done to me in just literally 2 to 3 weeks. It's great, and I can't wait to see how much better I become as a person through biking. Make sure you like this video because it does help. Please subscribe if you want to, and we will see you on the next video. Goodbye!